in this society, we are judged by what we do and the results that we achieve. It starts from a young age when we are children, we go to school and we are judged by teachers, by their appraisals, and also by exam results. And through that, we are graded whether we are high achievers or low achievers. And then we move on to work, and when we go to work, we're typically judged by the experience that we have, the skills, and the perceived value that our jobs bring, and most importantly, the income level. The higher the income, the more prestigious and high value worth the job tends to be. And if you're at the other end of the spectrum, where you do entry level jobs, where you don't need any particular skills, qualification, or experience, you tend to not to be perceived as being a high value resource to the labor force. So you tend to have lower pay, lower prospects for development of new skills or qualifications. Employers don't tend to invest any money in your development, and essentially you're left to do that job until you either get fed up of it and you leave, or you just resign yourself to doing it for the remainder of your life without any prospects of you ever improving, whether that's your income or your sense of achievement in a job. And I always found myself dreading that, doing the same job and feeling unfulfilled and unstimulated. So much so that after a while I quit most jobs, and I found myself being handicapped by that because it meant prolonged periods of unemployment, having no income, no sense of purpose, and no one that really seemed to care about me, how I was doing, and what my life was like. And that obviously turned me to pornography, gambling, just to kind of distract myself from those negative thoughts that I had. But ultimately, I realized that we are, as a society treats us as resources. So based on the income that we earn, we are considered whether a high value member of society, and if we don't earn an income, or we are in low paying jobs, we are considered lower achiever members or low value members of society, which can make you feel more like, which can impact your self esteem. It can make you feel like an underachiever. It can make you feel like withdrawing yourself from doing things and participating and living life to the full. So for me, it made me withdraw in my room, avoiding social contact, particularly when I was unemployed. But even unemployed, when I was employed and I didn't like what I did, I didn't really want to discuss with people. There was kind of like almost a sense of shame of it to admit that I was doing a job that I didn't enjoy or didn't see any value in doing. And ultimately, that's what my experience has been like for the last 10 years. Because I started working really late. I never really had a sense of purpose. I never really thought that I had a calling for something in particular. I still work just because I said, if I want to like have a quality of life where I could afford to do things that I enjoy, I needed to have some money, and that's what motivated me. It was more like the obtaining some currency, basically, because work provides that. And obviously, there's a lot of people in this society that are in work but still have to live an austere life where they have to deprive themselves of living life to the full, because most jobs these days, they don't pay enough. And if you look at the statistics, living costs have tended to increase more than wages for many workers. So in real terms, people have been getting poorer over the last 20 years, particularly here in United Kingdom. So that makes it even more demotivating in a way to go to work, because you realize, well, my living standards are going down and year by year because they're being eroded by the greater increases in living costs relative to my wages. But for me, work in low-level jobs always brought me stress. Has always made me feel not adequately rewarded, being overworked, and not being valued by an employer providing us with the opportunity to learn extra skills that might increase our labor market value, where one could realistically get the prospects of earning more money. So eventually, I always ended up quitting everything and basically finding myself out of work. But let me know your experience of work, whether it's in unskilled sectors or higher value sectors. How it made you feel. Did it make you feel that you were more? Did it make you feel more productive as a member of society? Did it bring you greater quality of life? Or was it the opposite that made you feel like your life wasn't progressing, that you were not being valued? I'd be intrigued to read in the comments.